Every night, I imagined the life I wanted. Every morning, I did nothing. Tomorrow one would be different. That's what I kept telling myself. Tomorrow I would finally start. Tomorrow I would become the person I kept imagining. But somehow, tomorrow never came. Maybe you've told yourself the same story. Maybe you've imagined writing that book, building that business, getting into shape, finally becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Not once, not twice, hundreds of times. And every single time, it felt real. For a few beautiful moments, you could almost see your future, almost touch it, almost become it. Then, the day passed, nothing changed. The strange part is, you weren't lazy, you genuinely wanted that life. So why didn't you move? Psychology has an uncomfortable answer. The greatest obstacle to your dreams isn't a lack of motivation. It's the quiet illusion that imagining change feels almost like creating it. And once your brain starts believing that illusion, tomorrow slowly becomes a prison. Centuries ago in feudal Japan, there lived a young samurai named Yuki. He dreamed of becoming the greatest swordsman his clan had ever known. Every evening he imagined glorious battles, honor, respect, victory. In his mind, he was already becoming legendary. But every morning, the real training began. The other students quietly picked up their swords. Yuki found another excuse. Perhaps tomorrow. Tomorrow the weather would be better. Tomorrow his body would feel stronger. Tomorrow he would train twice as hard. Tomorrow became his favorite word. Days became weeks. Weeks became years. While his dreams grew larger, his abilities remained exactly the same. The students who once looked up to him quietly walked past him, not because they dreamed bigger, because they practiced longer. The story of Yuki isn't really about a samurai. It's about every one of us. Maybe it's about you. Most people believe ambition naturally creates action. It doesn't. Sometimes it creates the opposite. The bigger the dream becomes, the safer it feels inside your imagination. Your future self becomes disciplined, successful, confident, respected. And because imagining that future feels so rewarding, your present self stays exactly where it is. Without realizing it, you begin living inside your potential instead of your reality. Your identity slowly becomes, I could become extraordinary, instead of, I'm becoming that person today. That tiny difference changes everything. Because potential is exciting. Action is repetitive. Potential feels limitless. Action feels uncomfortable. Potential gives hope. Action demands sacrifice. And the human brain will often choose the beautiful fantasy over the difficult first step. Without realizing it, Yuki wasn't addicted to success. He was addicted to imagining success. And modern psychology suggests millions of people are trapped inside exactly the same invisible prison. The question is no longer why people fail to act. The real question is why dreaming can sometimes feel more rewarding than doing. Here's what Yuki never understood. His greatest enemy wasn't laziness. It wasn't a lack of discipline. It wasn't even fear. It was his own mind. Modern psychology has discovered something remarkable. When you vividly imagine achieving a goal, your brain doesn't completely separate imagination from real progress. For a brief moment, it rewards you. A small release of dopamine, a quiet feeling of satisfaction, almost as if you've already moved closer to the life you want. That's why planning feels productive. Why talking about your dreams feels exciting. Why watching another motivational video can leave you feeling strangely accomplished. Even though nothing has actually changed, your brain quietly whispers, you're getting there, before you've taken a single step. And that's where the trap begins, because the reward comes before the effort. Your imagination starts replacing your momentum. Tomorrow suddenly feels acceptable, because today's fantasy already felt like progress. Psychologists describe a similar phenomenon called maladaptive daydreaming. The imagined future becomes so emotionally rewarding that it slowly begins replacing reality. You don't fall in love with success. You fall in love with the feeling of becoming successful. One changes your life. The other only changes your emotions. And emotions always fade. I know that feeling. I lived it. I convinced myself I was preparing. I watched another video, read another book, made another plan. Tomorrow, I would finally begin. But tomorrow quietly became next week, then next month. Without realizing it, I wasn't moving toward my future. I was hiding inside it. Then psychology reveals another uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fear failure. They fear discovering the truth about themselves. Because as long as you never begin, your dream stays perfect. You can always believe, I could have done it. I just haven't started yet. Your potential remains untouched, safe, protected from reality. But the moment you act, reality answers back. Sometimes it rewards you, sometimes it humbles you. Either way, it tells you the truth, and that's exactly what many people unconsciously avoid. Carl Jung believed that every person carries an image of who they could become, but he warned that we often become fascinated by that image instead of becoming it. We admire our future self. We imagine our future self. We identify with our future self. But identity without action is only fantasy. Yuki didn't lose because he lacked talent. He lost because every imagined victory quietly replaced another morning of practice, and that's the tragedy. Great lives are rarely built during extraordinary moments. They're built during ordinary mornings, when nobody's watching. The question isn't whether you have big dreams. The question is, what are you willing to do before your imagination convinces you that dreaming is enough? There's another reason tomorrow never arrives, and it has nothing to do with motivation. It has everything to do with identity. Think about the person who constantly says, I'm just not disciplined. I never finish what I start. I've always been this way. Those words may seem harmless, but your brain is always listening. Every time you repeat them, they become another brick in the story you believe about yourself. And once your identity says, this is who I am, your behavior quietly begins proving it right. Psychologists have long understood this. People naturally behave in ways that protect the identity they already have, even when that identity is limiting them. That's why change feels so uncomfortable. You're not just changing a habit, you're changing the person you believe yourself to be. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain. You look up, the peak disappears into the clouds. Suddenly your dream feels overwhelming. Your mind starts calculating everything it will take. Months, years, failure, sacrifice, uncertainty. And before you've taken the first step, you already feel exhausted. So you stay exactly where you are. Not because the first step is impossible, but because you're staring at the last one. The samurai understood something most people forget. The mountain is climbed one step at a time, not by staring at its peak and wishing to be there. That single idea changes everything. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You only have to take one step, one page, one workout, one phone call, one paragraph, one promise kept. Greatness isn't built through giant moments of inspiration. It's built through ordinary actions, repeated long enough to become extraordinary. Miyamoto Musashi understood this better than almost anyone. History remembers him as one of the greatest swordsmen who ever lived. But greatness wasn't built on inspiration. It was built on repetition. He didn't train because he felt motivated. He trained because it was simply what he did, day after day, whether he felt like it or not. Modern psychology now confirms the same principle. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting until you feel ready is like waiting for perfect weather before beginning a journey. You may wait forever, while someone else quietly walks through the rain and arrives long before you. Maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding of success. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't always the smartest or the most talented. Very often, they're simply the people who continue moving for years. I believed I needed one big breakthrough, one perfect morning, One moment where everything would finally change. But life almost never changes that way. It changes quietly, almost invisibly. One small decision at a time. Many years ago, an ordinary bus driver stopped every day beside an abandoned city lot. It was covered in trash. During his 10-minute break, he could have looked away. Instead, he picked up one piece of litter. The next day, he picked up another, then another. 10 minutes, every day. Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody applauded, but weeks became months. And little by little, the abandoned lot began to change. Other people noticed. Some joined him. Eventually, the empty lot became a beautiful park where children played every afternoon. The bus driver didn't change the park in a single day. He changed it, one small action, repeated again and again. That's how meaningful change always happens. The problem is, our brains don't like small victories. We want dramatic transformations. We want to wake up tomorrow, disciplined, confident, successful. But psychology teaches something much quieter. Confidence isn't created by imagining success. It's created by collecting evidence. Every promise you keep becomes evidence. Every workout you finish, every page you write, every difficult step you finally take, your brain slowly begins to say, maybe this is who I am now. That's how identity changes, not through one giant decision, but through hundreds of tiny ones. Looking back, I finally understood what Yuki never did. He wasn't defeated by impossible dreams. He was defeated